All right, you ready, Squid? Let's go. It's Monday Night Lock and Load, talking about guns, freedom, and the truth until dawn. And once again, Dianne Feinstein is trying to kill freedom. She's got a new assault weapons bill, the 2017 assault weapons bill. There's a link in the chat on where you can send where you can sign a petition against the bill. I don't think they're going to get it passed this year, thank God, or thank the Republicans, or the Senate hasn't completely fallen apart, although it looks like it's starting to. Jeepers. So here's the bill. It's Senate bill. Does the 115th Congress session adjourn at the end of the year, or not sure? But here's all the dummies that co-sponsored the bill. Both of the senators from Hawaii, unfortunately, and Mr. Frankenmonster. Feinstein, Blumenthal, Murphy, Schumer, Durbin, Murray, Reed, Carper, Menendez, in between breaks from his corruption trial, I guess, Cardin, Klobuchar, Whitehouse, Gillibrand, Frankenschatz, boo, Hirono, boo, Warren, Markey, Booker, Van Hollen, Duckworth, and Ms. Harris.
So they're from, let's see, Rhode Island, New York, Minnesota, Maryland,
Hawaii.
New Jersey, Delaware, Hawaii, Rhode Island, Washington, Illinois, New York, Connecticut. I know I'm saying some of these twice. I'm just looking on this list. I've got California, Pennsylvania, Vermont, and Ohio.
Way to go, Ohio. Being enacted by the Senate and House Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled, this act may be cited as the assault weapons ban of 2017. And they start out, just from what I can see from this bill, defining the terms of what a semi-automatic pistol is, what a semi-automatic rifle is, and semi-automatic assault weapon is. Means any of the term semi-automatic assault weapon means any of the following, regardless of country of manufacture or caliber or ammunition accepted. Semi-auto rifle that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine and any one of the following: a pistol grip, a forward grip. I guess these are those evil-looking things that make it more lethal, right? Folding, telescoping, or detachable stock, a grenade launcher or rocket launcher, a barrel shroud, a threaded barrel. The barrel shrouds make you invisible. A threaded barrel, for those who wish to sow the seeds of evil. Semi-automatic rifle that has a fixed magazine with capacity to accept more than 10 rounds, except for an attached tubular device designed to accept and capable of operating only with 22 caliber rimfire ammo. Any part, combination of parts, component, device, attachment, or accessory that is, I mean, that pretty much covers everything, that is designed or functions to accelerate the rate of fire of a semi-automatic rifle, but not convert the semi-automatic rifle into a machine gun. So that sounds like bum stock legislation, part of it, without saying it. A semi-automatic pistol that has the capacity to accept or detach magazine of any one of the following: a threaded barrel. If you have a threaded barrel on your pistol, it's now an assault weapon. A second pistol grip, a barrel shroud, the capacity to accept a detachable magazine at some location outside of the pistol grip. Semi-automatic version of an automatic firearm. Okay. Getting pretty crazy. A semi-automatic pistol with a fixed magazine that has a capacity to accept more than 10 rounds. Semi-automatic shotgun that has any one of the following: a folding, telescoping, detachable stock pistol grip, fixed magazine with capacity to accept more than 5 rounds. The ability to accept a detachable magazine. A forward grip, a grenade launcher, a rocket launcher. Or does that include potato launchers? Well, anyway, the shotgun, any shotgun with a revolving cylinder. Okay, they're talking about street sweepers. I remember when they used to advertise for those street sweepers in the Penny Saver. I bet when I was a child in LA, I would read the mail. I remember seeing those, and I just remember thinking, those look cool. I don't know if anybody ever put those in a movie, but anyway, all of the following rifles, copies, variants, duplicates, or altered facsimiles with the capability of any such weapon thereof. All AK types, including, and they list a bunch of AKs. AK-47, AK-47S, AK-74, AKM, AKS, ARM, MAC-90, MISR. I'm not even sure what some of these are myself, but I'm sure most of the other guys in gun channels know. NHM-90, Red NHM-91, Rock River Arms, LAR-47, SA-85, SA-93, Vector Arms, AK-47, Vepr, Wasser-10, Ding Ding, that's me, and WUM. I don't know what a WUM is, but I'm sure somebody out there knows what a WUM is. Ishmash, Sega, AK, Madi, that's the Egyptian version, I think, of the AK, and ARM, Norinco, 56S, 56S2, 84S, and 86S Polytech. And those are some people have ridiculous prices for Polytechs, I've heard on Gunbroker, but AK-47s and AKS. AKR types, including AR-10, AR-15, all AR types. Alexander Arms, Overmatch Plus, Armalite, M15-22 long rifle carbine, Armalite M15T, Barrett Rec 7, Beretta AR-70, Black Rain Ordnance Recon Scout, Bushmaster ACR, Bushmaster Carbon 15. Boy, this list goes on forever. Colt Match Target Rifles, H&Ks, Jesse James Nomad. This is a long list of stuff that they want to ban. Wyndham Weaponry, WMD Guns Big Beast, Yankee Hill Machine Company, Barrett M107, Barrett M82, Beretta Storm, CX4, Calico Liberty, Daewoo. They didn't leave out the Koreans.
Hey, wait. I'm looking over on the left. 8 of 125. You're telling me they did 125 pages of every possible firearm? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, a lot of this is just lists of stuff that you can have.
Some of these things on this list I can't have because they're just expensive in general. But yeah, I mean, look, they're getting somewhat specific on this.
Yeah, well,
Not
they
the mini Draco.
They're like the evil Santa Claus. She made a list. She's checking it twice. And if you own one of these, you're naughty, not nice.
Well, they can leave the Rock River Arms on there because people are boycotting them anyhow. But the rest of it, though.
Calico Liberty pistols, DSA, NCOM, MP9, MP45, H&K pistols, Intratec, Tech 22 Scorpion, Tech 9, IWI Galil Ace pistol, Uzi Pro pistol. They didn't leave out IWI. Congratulations, you made. Congratulations, the first Israeli product to be banned.
Now wait a minute. Since her name is Feinstein and she's boycotting or banning an Israeli firearm, I guess that kind of cancels out, right? You can't say that it's racist or something, right?
Oh, don't get me started. Can't we just deal with the fact that they're, if they were to pass this, I would say freedom is dead and the war has begun. I mean, are they going to knock on your door if you own one of these? Is there going to be a tactical squad on your door if they actually were to pass this thing?
No, I don't think so. But I mean,
well, there's something in here about buyback programs, but most of the gang guys I know will not march down to the Gestapo headquarters and turn in their flipping semi-automatic firearms.
Right.
So what are they going to do?
Well, I don't know, but going door to door is impractical. I mean, maybe they go in small places. I don't know, but the first time somebody knocks on a door and they get shot, it's all over. They're going to be rethinking this. Before we go on,
the first time they knock on a door, probably somebody will get shot if they pass this law. I mean,
it all depends. I mean, somebody will be like, "Here, take
my." It's like they in California they have the APPS, the basically a list of people that are prohibited from owning and firearms, and so they check that list. And if you're on the list, and they have some reason to believe that you have a firearm, there will be a tactical squad at your door. And they aren't bringing cookies and milk. They're going in guns up because they're assuming that you're armed and dangerous. So I just want to know if they're actually going to treat you like you're armed and dangerous just because you own one of these weapons or firearms. I mean, most people that own this stuff, they're not dangerous. They are armed, but they're not dangerous. But they have a right to be armed. So it's like if you take that away, basically, if you just they pass these laws because they could never repeal the Second Amendment. That'll never get repealed. If they tried, God knows what would happen. They have to have a constitutional convention, and once you open up one of those, you'll never know what will actually happen. But this is one of those things that everybody should get up, and there is a link that you can click on from the Firearms Policy Coalition in the video description, and it will take you to a page where you can sign a petition against this that will be presented to Congress. I imagine that's something that the Firearms Policy Coalition set up. Ah, boy. And extensions of a stock along the bottom of the barrel was designed in circle or completely assumed. So basically they're defining everything here. The term grenade launcher or rocket launcher means an attachment for use on a firearm that is designed to propel a grenade, rocket, or other similar destructive device. What about those Coke can launchers or Pepsi launchers or potato launchers? I don't know. The term permanently inoperable means a firearm which is capable of discharging a shot by means of an explosive incapable of being readily restored to a firing condition.
I'd also like to say hi to Patrick out there. Oh, and it looks like Scott just joined us too.
Yeah, welcome to the Hangout. We're going to be going at this one. The term grandfathered semi-automatic assault weapons means any semi-automatic assault weapon, the importation, possession, sale, or transfer of which would be unlawful under Section 922V, but for the exception under Paragraph 2 of such section. So basically what they're saying, they're also basically trying to mess with grandfathered semi-automatic assault weapons. So if you have one before this bill, then you won't be able to transfer it to anybody unless you give it to like an FFL first. So you couldn't like just hand it down to your son or something like that, according to this, my reading of it. But this is basically let's end the republic and start a civil war kind of a legislation. They don't know what will happen if they were to actually be able to pass this bill. nobody would turn in their guns. And then there'd be the next shooting that happens. They'll like, if something like Texas ever happens again, the tragedy at the Texas church, then they'll probably try and use the police to start collecting everyone's guns, and that will not turn out well. I mean, the police are the good guys, but these politicians don't know shit from Shinola. And as far as their oath to support and defend the Constitution, I don't think they've even read the Constitution. I mean, just if you look at the very start of this bill, I'm going to go back up to this page. What are we on? Page 16? Go back up to the start, and it says, a bill to regulate assault weapons to ensure that the right to keep and bear arms is not unlimited, and for other purposes. Like, what other purposes? To destroy the republic? Anyway, I don't think I want to scroll through the whole thing, but I would say definitely sign that petition. And I don't know if you can. They have. I think they have a way you can make a donation or something after the thing to the Firearms Policy Coalition. But any Second Amendment organization will do, and I'm sure they'll all be trying to fight this one. Okay, we already went through this part. It shall be unlawful for a person to import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce a semi-automatic assault weapon. Right, and they kind of try and define that. What that means is by meaning everything.
Well, if you look at that list, they pretty much covered everything. I mean, some of those firearms they're not even in production anymore.
I know, but that's the whole thing with the grandfather clause. They don't want any grandfathered stuff being able to be transferred. So
what this looks like to me is the 94 ban on steroids. And if you look at the top, it's left blank. Like she's had this set and ready, like everybody's been saying that she's just waiting to pounce. This thing is so wordy and so ridiculous that I don't think it's going to get through. I mean, it's enough to, give everybody a wake-up call and say, oh, we should keep an eye on what's going on. But
yeah, this is like they should call this bill the bill to end the republic and start a civil war. Is what it should be. I hope this never passes. So yeah, send in your petitions, please. Just and if you can give us a thumbs up, that'd be okay. But mainly sign the petition. Do whatever you can do. Don't. I mean, stand up and fight on this one. This is one of those. Everybody that likes guns, get off your ass and get out there and click on a few buttons at least. And talk about it on your favorite lobby show or on the late night, early morning gun channel shows, or get out there on social media, get in somebody's face. Here's one. The Attorney General shall establish and maintain in a timely manner a record of the make, model, and, if available, date of manufacture of any semi-automatic assault weapon which the Attorney General is made aware has been used in relation to a federal crime under federal state law, and the nature and circumstances of the crime involved, including the outcome of relevant criminal investigations and proceedings. They're going to make another list. The Attorney General shall annually submit a copy of the record established under this paragraph to Congress and make the record available to the general public. Okay, so there's going to be another public list. That won't do any good. And here's one. It shall be unlawful for a person to import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce a large capacity ammunition feeding device. I would say that if this thing were to pass, I mean, even if the president isn't going to sign it, it will cause a massive run on AK mags, AR mags, M4 mag. Talk about a magazine rush. You'll be able to sell them for ridiculous prices. I'll probably sell some of my AK mags if this ever got passed. I'll keep most of them, but if it gets to be crazy, like $200 for an AK mag. Of course, it depends on Bitcoin is, but it's like, so they're going to ban magazines first, it looks like. Or
You had to slip in the Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin's been crazy. I do have some stuff on to talk about later on Bitcoin, but I'm trying to stay on this right now.
Well, one day my detachable box magazine might be worth more than your coin.
Yeah, in your dreams, I mean, or in your nightmares. More importantly, that this would be a nightmare.
That's more accurate. Yes.
The importation or sale or transfer to a licensing under Title I of the Atomic Energy Act of 1954 for purposes of establishing and maintaining an on-site physical protection system or secure. Oh, so you're allowed to have these magazines if you're protecting a nuclear power plant. That's reassuring. Secure storage or safety device requirement for grandfathered semi-automatic assault weapons. So you're basically going to have to have it in pieces, and where one part of the gun is in one safe and the other part of the gun is in another safe, and your ammo and grandfathered magazines are in another safe. So if somebody were to break into your house and try and commit a crime against you, and it would take you at least 2 hours just to open all your safes and reassemble your weapons.
No way. It'd be like John Wick. There'd be a box underneath the basement floor. I'd have to chisel it out and dig it out.
Well, if we could but think of how many magazine laws. Well, he doesn't actually break he just takes everybody else's magazine. All he needs is one mag, and then he just shoots the first guy, takes his 2 magazines, and then shoots the next guy and takes another couple magazines. And by the end after shooting like 20 or 30 people, he's got like 50 or 70 magazines.
In the movie, when he wants to get his stuff, he has it hidden underneath the basement floor of the house. So I guess that's what I'll do. I'll just saw cut and put
just
something
bury
down there.
You guys need to have a cache like in Judgment Day where Sarah Connor stores everything underground in a weapons cache.
See,
including a minigun. Somewhere in Dusty's farm, he's got enough acres where you could have a cache somewhere.
The problem with that is here the water table's so high that you're really gonna want to do some serious waterproofing on the block wall or whatever it is to make sure that it doesn't flood with groundwater and you ruin everything in there. Sarah Connor was in Mexico. She didn't have that problem.
Well, that was Southern Cal. I think that was the Mojave Desert that she was in where they had that. That was before Mexico, I think.
Whatever, it's all the same. But what I mean is in the desert, you don't have to worry about groundwater. Here, you got to worry about that. So we would just have to make sure.
You could bury everything in one of his grain storage things.
Right? I suppose, yeah. But we could build something, but I'm just saying we'd have to waterproof the exterior. I mean, I'd want to use more than just tar paper.
Well, I definitely think I'm really glad that you guys hooked up as far as if the shit hits the fan, you guys are going to team up because I know you'll be a lot stronger together than you will be individually by a long shot. So I feel like I've done some good helping you guys out. So if the shit hits the fan, your families will survive together.
See, that's what you do. You bring people together. You're a uniter, not a divider.
Oh, I don't know about that, but at least I did one thing right. So I'll just chalk that up as a 1 and then move on to the next thing. Identification markings for large capacity ammunition feeding devices. So wait, where our magazines are going to need to have like some kind of micro stamp on them now too? Shelby, so you need serial. Your magazines are going to shall be identified by serial number and the date on which the device was manufactured, made, legibly and conspicuously engraved or cast on the device. Yeah, this is one of those things. Please get up and click the protest button because this is so over the top. This is basically a repeal of the Second Amendment. It's just without that they're passing unconstitutional laws. And here's the thing that I wish Dusty was on for, because it's like in the Peruta case, we cannot count on the courts to enforce the Constitution anymore. They've been filled with political hacks, and the Ninth Circuit Court is a joke. I mean, the Peruta case, we now live under Solon's law. Solon was an archon in the city-state of Athens who banned armor, and where you couldn't wear armor in the city of Athens. And this is hundreds of years before the birth of Christ, and that is the only precedent they could find for. And I thought it was ridiculous when I first read the Brady campaign filing on this, amicus brief, but they bought it and went with it because there wasn't anything else they could possibly find of any fig leaf to hang on to that, to overturn the Peruta ruling of the 3-judge panel in the Ninth Circuit. So, and here's the part where I thought Dusty, I'm going to share another interesting story. Like people who expect the courts to actually enforce the Constitution or at least make sense. You may not have heard about this, but the Florida Court of Appeals banned, you can no longer, they have a ban on vegetable gardens in your front yard. They literally banned vegetable gardens. The city used zoning codes, they claiming that vegetables are ugly or something like that. And they didn't want people's front yards to have vegetable gardens in them. So it was the zoning. Basically, what the court said was, if you don't like the laws your politicians pass, vote for different politicians. And so right now in Florida, you can still get a carry permit, but you can't grow vegetables in your front yard. So, I mean, if you think that something like this is unconstitutional and, well, the courts will overturn it, well, I don't feel like holding my breath and waiting. I don't know about you guys, but so the whole point in relation to this bill is we can't count on courts to enforce the Constitution anymore. In the case of the vegetable garden, they just stuck to a rational basis as a standard of scrutiny. If you have a rational basis for believing this makes sense, then that is constitutional. And passing zoning ordinance is not unconstitutional. But telling people that they can't grow vegetables in their own yard is. It's just that we have idiots for judges, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it. Idiots and political hacks. So here are some firearms exempted by the assault weapons ban. I think a lot of them are, I'm not too familiar with a lot of these. You know any of these, Squib? Oh, M1 Garand with a fixed 8-round capacity. You're still allowed to have that. That's your favorite.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah. M1 Garand, M1 carbine. If you look, the Ivor Johnson M1 carbine is a commercial version that they made in the 50s and 60s, I think.
So, some of these are lever action, but not all of them.
You said lever.
Lever, whatever.
No,
lever and lever.
We're all saying lever these days.
Isn't that a kind of soap? Anyway, center fire rifles, lever and slide. Well, what's wrong with saying lever? Is that like?
It's a Bob thing. It's a Canada thing there, eh? Yeah, these are good old boy hunting rifles, or these are classic rifles that have been used for competition, shooting, government-sanctioned competitions, that sort of thing.
Winchester replicas.
Well, the SKS is not quite, but I mean, Yeah.
Henry Big Boy, those are lever actions.
Yeah, shooting mine today. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, and there's another Bob thing in there. His nylon 66 is in there too. Yeah, these are a lot of cowboy action guns. This is a lot of There's a whole list of cowboy action guns. I mean, this is what this is to divide us. This is to get the guys that do competitive shooting or the guys that and I don't mean IPSC competitive. I mean like the military style competitive shooting or cowboy action shooting or hunting. To go, I don't see nothing wrong with this at all because my gun's on the good list. And to get the FUDs and the people like that to not want to vote against this because
A square Genghis Khan bolt action rifle. I didn't know there was a Genghis Khan bolt action rifle.
it might have been the one that was going off next to my head today. Dang, that thing was loud.
A lot of Browning bolt actions. Mauser, Century Mauser 98 Sporter. I mean, honestly, you could do a hell of a lot of damage with a Mauser and Sporter if you were a bad guy.
Well, here's the thing. Let's just say they were somehow able to magically take away all the guns on this
on the bad list.
On the bad list, and only leave this stuff. How long would it be before somebody got one of the guns that was on the bad list that was brought into the country illegally, stolen from the military, stolen from the police, or they used one of these on the good list to do the same thing, possibly even worse, even though it might not carry as much ammunition in the magazine or the magazine is not detachable quick change. Some of these guns are chambered in rounds that will absolutely devastate pretty much anything. I mean, getting hit by a bullet of any caliber could be lethal, but I mean, some of these guns that you're scrolling through here will cut you in half. They might be single shot, but they'll cut you in half.
Navy Arms Creedmoor rifle. Rowing Black rifle.
Yeah, see, they're trying to appeal to the National Muzzleloading Rifle Association. This is all stuff that you would use for cowboy action shooting and things like that. And all that stuff is great. You know, I'm not saying any of that stuff is bad at all. I like that stuff, but I like the other stuff too. I mean, I kind of prefer
we don't need the government telling us what we can and can't have. I mean, I don't want the government telling me what I can and can't have. I mean, they're supposed to ask us for permission to do things. We aren't supposed to have to ask them for permission. Anschutz. Sounds like a nice German name for a rifle. You're loading up the Anschutz.
Yeah, those are Olympic style shooting rifles and sporting rifles for hunting, and yeah, they're real high end.
Well, I like the name already, but if nothing else, this list will give everybody a bunch of new rifles they might just check out. But first, click the thing to oppose the bill, to get yourself on the protest list on this bill.
How much time did they spend coming up with this list?
Well, I'm sure it's been worked out long in advance by the Brady Foundation or some other such organization. But guns that you can have to prove that they're talking points that the NRA members support gun control. So, which is bullshit. And and they wanted the list to be long. I could just tell you this. Just scrolling through this, they will look at all the guns we're letting you have after we banned everything that most people do have. I mean, most people don't have any of these guns that they allow. I mean, there's a lot of people that do that are really into guns. I mean, I don't have any of these lists on. I don't have any of these guns that are on the good list. All my guns are on the bad list, except for my revolver, I think.
Most of the guns on the good list are really expensive. Well, it's on the bad list. Some of those were expensive.
Oh wait,
too.
my Benelli Supernova is on this list. I can keep my shotgun. How nice!
Yay! You get one whole gun.
I could do a lot of damage with that Benelli Supernova if I was a bad guy.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, Benelli makes good shotguns.
Yeah, I wouldn't. As long as you don't short chuck them, they're.
Did they have an 835? Scroll back up. Did they have the Ultimate? Go down a little bit more. A little bit more. The Ultimate. There we go. The 835. Yay! I get to keep my shotgun too.
It just What are they? Are they going to come and knock on my door and demand my AK and my Tavor? I didn't see the Tavor on the ban list, but I'm sure they'll if they were seizing my arms, they'd just grab everything on their way out.
Now, see, my shotgun has got camo on it. That's the way it came. I wasn't real big fan of that stuff, but it grows on me over time. Well, think about it. I could just toss it in the weeds, and they wouldn't see it.
Well, if they bring a metal detector, they'll see it. They'll go beep, beep, beep. Yeah, this is a long list of guns that most people don't have, except for, I guess, my Supernova. I'm surprised I had anything on. Oh, Browning Satoris. Those are great shotguns.
Yeah, I like them. They're expensive, but they're well balanced. They're really nice.
As soon as I get done showing this list, I'll actually look at the chat. Sorry, guys, for not paying attention. I'm just scrolling through this list right now. Camars di Abbiatico and Salvini. Sounds Italian. Frankie. Galif Silver Snipe? Sounds like a bird.
Wait, what?
Here, Galif Silver Snipe, Galif Golden Snipe.
Huh.
You know what those are?
Looks like a break open shotgun. Single shot.
So it's a bird gun, I think, because snipes are kind of bird, I believe. So it must be a bird gun.
I think this is a single shot. Is it single or is it double barrel?
Well, you're looking at it. I'm looking at the list. You're looking at the
all right. Yeah, I'm having trouble. I can't. This might be a double barrel. Yeah, let's see here. All the good pictures are small. Tools size large. Poof. There we go.
You want to screen?
Over and under looks like.
Do you want to screen share it, or is it too small?
No, it's not worth screen sharing.
All right.
Looks like just some of them look like over and under, some look like side by side, and some of them look like just a single barrel, but they're break open shotguns. So, yeah, it's your bird gun, like you were saying. So,
San Marco 12 gauge wildflower shotgun. I've never heard of who uses a shotgun on flowers. But
hey, did they have Sears and Montgomery Ward shotguns in there?
I didn't see anything that said Sears. It went from Savage to Sig Sauer, no E. SA to SI, no E. So I don't see anything that says Sears. SKB. Sears is going out of. I mean, I think they're almost out of business, aren't they now? I mean, as a entity, they've been closing stores and.
I thought Kmart bought Sears. Kmart was going bankrupt, so they bought Sears. Wait, what? Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, oh, I macaroni and cheese is on sale at Walmart for $1.88. I just thought I'd throw that in there in case what's her name is listening. Shotgun side by side.
Mouse toes.
Yeah. I think I'll make a video just buying a couple cases of mac and cheese to upset her. So these are side by side. Coach guns. They're going to let us have coach guns. All we need is a stagecoach to ride on them with. You know, my father's been talking about moving to Arizona so much, but my mom hates the idea. But they've decided to rent a house for a month in Arizona and see if they like it. I keep telling them, get the hell out of California. Taxes are going through the roof. And they're going to come after everybody that has money in a 401k. In order to pay everybody's state pensions, they're just going to seize all that money. And on the Bitcoin front, Coinbase, looks like they're going to be losing a case to the IRS. The IRS wants them to turn over. They initially won a ruling not having to turn over basically IRS wanted all the information that they have on anybody's name, passwords, IP address that had ever bought Bitcoin, and a list of all the transactions. So that got thrown out of court, and IRS reduced it to just a list of all the transactions. And it looks like they're going to get that, and Coinbase is going to lose. So thank goodness I didn't buy any Bitcoin off of Coinbase. They just want to know where all valuable assets are so they can seize them later when the currency goes kerplunk. By the way, there is a civil war. It looks like there's a civil war about to break out in Saudi Arabia, and another Middle East war for those who haven't had enough Mideast wars.
Is that robot chick going to lead them into battle?
Which robot chick?
Didn't Saudi Arabia grant citizenship to a female robot?
I don't know. I know what I do know is that they've put all their F-15s, the entire force, on war footing. Everybody's on active duty now. Nobody's off. They're on a war footing. After that missile came in, it's basically an Iranian missile that got shot into the Saudi capital from Yemen. Their war there with the Houthis that are basically backed by Iran. So they declared that an active war, and they didn't say it was an active war with Iran, but that's who they were naming it. They've gone around and arrested everybody, or like a lot of people. And there's an internal civil war. They almost went to war with Qatar, which would be really funny because if the Saudis were to invade Qatar, I mean, the United States has a base there, Iran has a base there. It would be, everybody that's involved would be in that war as soon as the first Saudi soldier set his foot across the border or plane flew over the border. That would be a big mess. I mean, they wanted mainly Saudi Arabia wanted Al Jazeera shut down. Boy, this is a long list of rifles.
Yeah, you still have 10 more pages.
Well, I'll go through. H&R partner. Well, I'll try and go faster, but I did want to stop long enough so you could actually see something when it was going by. Now, who Iver Johnson? You were talking about that before. That's a company that made Rams.
No. Iver Johnson's made all kinds of stuff. They made handguns, shotguns, and all kinds of stuff. But they made something they called the Universal Carbine, It's an M1 carbine clone that was made after the Korean War, and there's a few things about it that are different than a standard M1 carbine, but it looks the same and all that other stuff. I've been wanting to get one for years, even though they really have no collector value at all.
So it's a firearm manufacturer.
Yeah, Iver Johnson's a firearm man. So they make handguns, shotguns, rifles. They make all kinds of stuff.
Rossi Circuit Judge, lever action shotgun. Lever. Oh, an SWD Terminator. That sounds interesting. I don't know what it is, but I think I saw Terminator. One of the Terminator shows was on last night. Thank God we're through the list. Background checks for transfer of grandfathered semi-automatic assault weapons. In this subsection, the term chief law enforcement officer means chief of police, the sheriff, or equivalent officer or designee of any such individual. Beginning on the date that is 90 days after the date of enactment of the AWB of 2017, it shall be unlawful for any person who is not licensed under this chapter to transfer a grandfathered semi-auto rifle, assault weapon. Sorry, I don't even know what that means. A semi-automatic assault weapon to any other person who is not licensed under this chapter. You know, this reminds me of when the Brits passed a law against zombie knives. I mean, there's no such thing as a zombie knife, but you can't have one and if you do, they'll throw you in prison. So you can't have a semi-automatic assault weapon. They try and say what it is, which they basically, it seems like almost anything could be a semi-automatic assault weapon. I mean, that's why I have like this green zombie grip on my Glock, because they passed that zombie knife law. I mean, where's the, get my way back to the screen. Right, so here's the green zombie grip on my Glock, and it's like, it's a zombie Glock. So it's twice double illegal now in the UK. Because it's green. All right. So I'm going to actually take a look at the chat, see if anybody out there wants to say anything about this bill other than it sucks shit.
I think that says it all.
Yes. All right, I'm going to have a quick look. Okay, Patrick, Scott, thanks for showing up. Is the puckle gun on there? What the heck is a puckle gun? Phase plasma rifle and that. What do you want, Ray? Yes, and also before you buy a gun, you have to put your right hand up and say, "I swear I will not kill anyone."
It wasn't the puckle gun. There's another. See, we need Biker Bob in here. I think he was going to talk about the puckle gun on the Daily Gun Show.
I've missed a lot of Daily Gun shows lately. I've just been living life but
well, it would be probably 5 or 6 in the morning your time when it's on.
Yeah, that's part of it. All right. So
see, and whatever time it is, it's not going to change because Arizona doesn't use daylight savings time either. So
nobody needs a high capacity vegetable garden. That's funny. Yeah, well, I mean, I think people will, the way the economy is going. If I am not mistaken, a puckle gun is a hand crank shotgun used on size of ships. Jesse James.
Oh. No shit. Huh.
Navy. Okay, you're supposed to know that Navy shit, man. You were in the Marines, so.
Yeah, the kind of guns we met on the side of the ships were M250 cals, so whatever. Small guns. Everything else was much larger.
Yes, the Democrats are retarded. I got a real when I called somebody on my local paper's website at Libtard, they were offended. They thought that was racist or something. It's a term that I think they were complaining that it's mean to handicapped people, I mean, people with mental disabilities. It's like it was aimed at Democrats, not at. They took that as a some kind of, it's like you're being mean to mentally handicapped people. Only the ones that are in the Senate, really. Just want to say, everybody, get out there and click on the buttons to get there to put your name on the protest list. It's the video. You do that. The video description has the link to the Firearm Policy Coalition's protest. Sign the protest on the website, and they'll get it to your senator or to the whole Senate, I imagine. They get enough people. I hope this thing does the Congress adjourn at the end of the year?
I thought it said 2017, 2018 Congress, so this year, next year. So if we send a letter to our senator, should we copy paste this whole 125 pages?
No, I think everybody knows what it is without having to copy and paste it. It's in the. I think if you just sign it, on the FPC page that's linked in the video description of the video, then they'll get your signature to the Senate. At least that's what I think will happen. Okay. Regulations promulgated under this paragraph shall include a provision setting a maximum fee that may be charged by licensees for services provided in accordance with this paragraph. Okay, so the people that are actually the gun shops that have to do whatever registration and stuff, there's going to be a maximum amount that they can charge you, so they won't. But which will guarantee they can't make any money by doing this stuff. So you're making the gun shops do things that they don't really want to do or believe in, and they can't make any money off of for doing. You don't want to make sure that there's somebody you don't piss off in this bill. Shall not include any provision imposing record-keeping requirements on any unlicensed transfer or requiring licenses to facilitate transfers in accordance with paragraph 1. Yeah, here's what I was talking about earlier, the use of burn grants for buyback programs for semi-automatic assault rifles. So I guess in their delusional minds, they think they can vote for this bill and use these burn grants and then everybody will just march down and turn in their guns. I mean, that will never happen. This is America, not Australia. They've got this envision of, it worked in Australia, so why won't it work in America? Because we're not dumb, okay? Compensation for surrendered semi-automatic assault weapons and large capacity ammunition feeding devices, as those terms defined in Section 921 of Title 19 U.S. Code under buyback program. So they can use this burn fund, or whatever it is, Byron, however you pronounce it. Somebody needs to make a Lever Byron magazine or something just to make it really hard to pronounce. If they make it really hard to pronounce, then nobody will buy it. And here's the part that makes absolutely no sense: severability. If any provision of this act, an amendment made by this act, or the application of such provision or amendment to any person or circumstances held to be unconstitutional, the remainder of this act, the amendments made by this act, and the application of such provision or amendment to any person or circumstance shall not be affected thereby. So it says that if it's declared unconstitutional, like if one part of this act is constitution, then the rest of it is still constitutional. I mean, they're trying to be judge, jury, and executioner in this bill. I mean, and it is like the freedom is. Oh, we came to the end. Thank God. The end is near. This is the end, my friend. Yeah, if you don't get up and stand up and fight this one, then this will be the end. Freedom will be dead. This is the end the republic, kill freedom, and start a civil war bill.
Patrick wants to know if we at least have sharks with freaking laser beams on their head.
Yes, this would happen. I mean, it's like the economy is collapsing. They're going to have to print so much money to pay to service the debt and to bail out the pension funds in every state, that they're even going to have to seize everybody's IRA, 401k, and just redistribute it to the pension funds. And then when they get everybody real pissed off, they're going to try and take everyone's weapons. First, they're going to make them really angry, but steal all their money, and then they're going to try and take their. I think they're going to try and pass this, if they were smart, before they try to pay off all the make the pension funds whole by printing the dollar out of existence. I mean, the dollar is going to be dead, and the war will begin, and then they will seize all your weapons. Not necessarily in that order, but this is like, here's basically they have a list of all the guns they want to confiscate, and anyway, get up off your ass, get your friends up off their asses, and have them. I mean, look at my senators; they really suck. I got to tell you how much I hate my senators, Schatz and Hirono. They really suck. So. Schatz didn't even have the courage to leave it when he was running. He was running against Cam Cavasso and the Republican, and not only did nobody support the Republicans, figure Hawaii was a lost cause, but Schatz just hid in his office and he wouldn't debate the Republican guy. He had a debate against his Democratic challenger, but he wouldn't debate the Republican in the main election, because he knew the Republican would have whipped his ass in that debate, would have made him look like an idiot. And there was no reason for him to debate, because he didn't need to have a debate in order to win. in this state, the Democrat always wins, unfortunately. So I would like them to lose on this bill. So I'm going to do whatever I can to have this bill either go down to a vote for defeat or never be tabled. So it says they introduced this bill, which was read twice and referred to the committee on something or other. I assume this would have to be the Judicial Committee, right?
Not sure. If they read this on the floor, do you know how many people would fall asleep or walk out before they got halfway through it?
Well, they were reading it on the floor. They can just dispense with the reading. But, I mean, I could just see them listing all these guns. It would take them quite a while to list all these guns and just read them. I mean, it took me forever just to scroll through them. So yeah, we don't need high capacity vegetable gardens, but it's like, I don't know what else to say about this bill other than it sucks. So here's the website of the Firearms Policy Coalition. There's a link to get there, and you can just put in your name, email address, a zip code, and it'll powered by One Click Politics. And I think if you make a donation, you get entered into their contest to win one of the guns they want to ban. Giveaway. You know what I like about this picture? They kind of cut off her head. Not necessarily a bad idea. But anyway, I don't want to say anything that'll have the Secret Service knocking on my door saying, "Hey, you insulted Dianne Feinstein."
They're not coming all the way out there. You're too far away.
Are you kidding? Obama comes out and lives. Hasn't he moved here yet or something?
Oh, he's not moving back to Kenya?
No, they wouldn't let anybody they wouldn't let him in. They have standards. All right, so we covered the onions. All right, blockchain is all blocked up right now, by the way. I did want to share this with you guys, like my Exodus wallet. The Bitcoin network is very congested. Transactions might need hours to confirm, and fees are the highest we have ever seen in the history of Bitcoin. These fees are paid directly to the Bitcoin network to process your transaction. Exodus does not keep any of the network fees. So right now, everything is slowed down. And what happened was there was a fork that didn't happen. There was a segregated witness 2x fork that was supposed to address and there was going to be basically, if you had one Bitcoin after this fork, you would have the original Bitcoin plus the SegWit 2 coin. And what the SegWit 2 coin was supposed to deal with is the slow transaction times and the high transaction fees. And so half of the people involved in Bitcoin hated it and thought it was an assault on Bitcoin. And the other half of the people thought it was the only way to save Bitcoin from the high transaction fees and slow send times. It takes hours because right now they're just backed up. They've got more transactions that they can process efficiently. So basically, it's either Bitcoin. The people that were for SegWit since they didn't pass SegWit, that Bitcoin signed its own death warrant, and it went after peaking at 7,800, it dropped 2,000 points, and then it went back up about another 1,000 points. So it's been a crazy roller coaster ride, and Bitcoin Cash skyrocketed, which was a previous fork from about 6 months ago. The Bitcoin Cash fork. I have a little bit of that, but not much, and that skyrocketed in value. Bitcoin was going down, and Bitcoin Cash was going up. And when Bitcoin was going down, all the altcoins were going up, and especially Ether and Dash don't have any, they have very like low fees associated with sending, like almost nothing. So Ether and Dash and some of the other altcoins were skyrocketing too, especially Bitcoin Cash. But I don't know if Bitcoin Gold was actually going to happen. That might be another fork that happens, or the SegWit was the big thing that didn't happen that people thought was going to happen. So everything's all jammed up, but it doesn't matter to me. I've just done nothing, and the value is just basically, I got a little over $1,000 worth of cryptocurrencies, and it's been going up and down, but it hasn't changed more than $100, the value of my blockchain wallet. So it's like, whatever. Anyway, back to guns, which is why we're here. Did you have some gun law in Michigan that you needed to talk about? Was that you that sent me?
Oh, yeah, there was some stuff, but it was posted on gun channels, so I don't know. It's already been posted.
Very well. I don't know anything about it. Pete, can you just give us a quick rundown on what was happening in Michigan?
Well, let's see here. Senate Bill 0366.
That's in the Michigan State Senate, right?
Yes, Michigan State Senate. And this one is for, get through the definition of a firearm. Boy, this is a mess. No wonder nobody replied to this. Yeah, this is about concealed carry permits, and looks like they're just taking a bunch of wording out of it. I didn't think our process to get a concealed carry permit in this state was that bad. Yeah. All right, let me skip to the next one. All right. 0584. 584. Blah, blah, blah. Definition of firearm. Again, people of Michigan shall.
If the dollar has no value, then guns will be worth more. Yeah. Well, if the dollar has no value, then your silver might be worth something.
Yeah, silver might be, or I can trade guns for stuff. Here's another one about concealed carry license. Blah 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 blah. Okay, this is about as bad as the Feinstein bill. It's a pro-gun, I guess, but I can't read this stuff. It's give me a headache here. Why don't they just go to a synopsis where they go, we're either allowing guns in places we said you couldn't have them, or we're making it cheaper to get this damn thing. Blah, 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 applies to the following, etc., etc. These were posted on gun channels, and I glanced at them, but...
When you say they were posted on gun channels, wasn't the news feature where you could post things like that taken out or something, or was it moved somewhere?
It was just posted in the on the main page. So I just took a look at them and said, I'll talk about them on the show. And then, why were these even posted? All right. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm on the third one, and it looks like a bunch of legal gibberish. What they were talking about in Michigan was getting rid of the concealed carry permit altogether and just going constitutional carry. They're also talking about changing the law where you can conceal carry or open carry in a school. And then I thought they were talking about another law where they were going to make it cheaper to get a permit. I can't remember, but they've been talking about this crap for years and they ain't done anything. So, I mean, we still have decent gun laws here in Michigan, but prohibits from imposing restriction, blah, 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 transfer possession of firearms, such, etc. The people of Michigan shall... Yeah, there you go. Okay, you know what it is? If the pro-gun guys wrote these laws, they wrote them in such a way, nobody's going to want to vote for them because my eyes are starting to hurt just scrolling through. All I'm doing is looking at PDFs and I'm scrolling through, and it just...
Right. Well, it's something you obviously would have to prepare for before the show. Generally, what I do is I get a really big Jack and Coke mixed up, like a pint-sized Jack and Coke, and then I just drink and read until it makes sense. You can't just start that on the show and then expect to comprehend what the hell is in there.
Yeah, well, I glanced at it. I should have spent more time on it because I thought it was just the ones that they've been talking about. Like I said, they've been talking about this crap for years and they ain't done nothing with it. No, it's not. It's a bunch of gibberish. So I guess you can write gun laws the other way and say, look, I'm pro-gun, and you're writing a law that just chases its tail and does nothing.
Well, by the way, there was a Secret Service guy on the Big Island donated his Remington 700 to the police force. And they had a meeting on it, and the police force and the council decided it would be okay to accept it on behalf of the police force. And basically, the problem is they have no place that with more than 100 yards, there's no range. There's no rifle range. And it's like to zero the rifle or anything. And because the politicians have refused to approve any public firearms range. Basically, to shoot your firearm and only hunting weapons, you have to have go take the hunter ed class, have a hunting permit, and print it up and laminate it and take it with you. But in a hunting area, but you're not going to get more than 100 yards really of range, and that's enough to zero in a rifle. But if you're a police sniper, you need to have like maybe 300 or 400 yard where you can range where you can zero your weapon. And so I was like, well, how are the police going to actually be able to use this if they can't practice with it and zero the rifle at a range that they might have to use it at?
you let them have access to the military base.
Yeah, that's the only way would be to let the military base up at
They let
Pontalilla.
our law enforcement train up at the local Air National Guard base for some things.
Yeah, well, that'd be the only place where they could get it done.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The public should have access to a range like that. Even if it was a private gun club and you had to be a member or something, it'd be nice to have that.
But the police don't have a range where they can go and practice even with their handguns. It's like this place is so screwed up.
Yeah, see, if you guys had a state-run range, then LEO could use that because
there's a state-run range on Oahu, but on the Big Island, nothing.
Well, then they just have to spend money to send people over there to train. It's just going to cost the government even more. Hey, Patrick said over here, one of the Michigan bills was for 18 to 20-year-old to get a concealed pistol license if they were in the military or in law enforcement, as opposed to waiting till the age of 21. Okay. All right. I thought they were trying to do that in another state. I didn't know that was here. So thanks, Patriot.
If you're in the if your law enforcement isn't your badge, your license?
I would think so, but whatever. Maybe they're reservists. They've got police reserves here. I really don't know. The other thing about, if they want to let military and, somebody who's 18 in the military get a concealed pistol license because they're in the military, okay, sure, I guess. But that really has not a whole lot to do with concealed carrying.
Yeah, I mean, it's the people who are supposed to be free, not just the law enforcement officers, but in the military. I mean, it's the Constitution was written so that the people would be free, and that the government has to ask permission of the people, not the other way around. This law is all backwards, and it's basically an end run around a constitutional convention. If they want to repeal the Second Amendment, they have to have a constitutional convention and repeal it. And they can't do that, so they can't even pass this bill. I hope not, but they're going to keep trying. And if Trump loses the next election or something happens, we can't really rely on the courts to just declare the unconstitutionality of a thing every time anybody files a petition, because they can pass unconstitutional laws a lot faster than the court system works. And generally the court system doesn't work, as we've seen lately with banning of vegetable gardens and the whole Peruta case. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And so they designed our government so that there would be three branches. Now, Trump may never sign this, but he's president for 4 years, and then there's another election, and who knows what happens after that. So these are the kind of laws we gotta stomp on. So everybody, please go sign that petition and do whatever else you can think of to kill this bill. All right, any other gun news we got to talk about? Because I think we stomped on this piece of shit legislation as much as we can, possibly sort of me jumping up and down on a piece of paper saying this sucks. This is the kind of bill that Gun Channels was written to get people activated for. So everybody should get on there and just if you haven't checked out Gun Channels, it's gunchannels.com. My chat is gunchannels.com/HVS. But there's a lot of other channels on here. I'm not the only gun channel. There's all kinds of stuff happening on here. Edge of the Week on Fridays, I try and do his show. Holy Prepper is actually a member of Gun Channels too, and she does a show on Thursdays on YouTube. It's not a Gun Channel show per se. It's more of a prepper powwow. But those are the three shows I try and do every week. Anyway, I thought this was an important bill that everybody should know about, so they could get up and don't just go to the lobby and hang out. Get up and actually do something. Talk about this stuff in the lobby, I guess, if you want to on Gun Channels. But definitely do something. Don't just sit around and hope that Trump and Mitch McConnell can save the Second Amendment, because they're having a hard time trying to pass a tax cut and deal with the whole Russia baloney and the whole thing. I guess there's some Alabama Republican who's in deep trouble because of something that happened 40 years ago.
Was that the thing they were talking about on Rush Limbaugh?
I don't listen to Rush Limbaugh. I don't know. My dad likes Rush Limbaugh, but I don't listen to him.
I turned on the AM radio on the way out to the range today, and he was talking about something, and he was saying that the Democrats cover up when one of theirs has some sort of sexual misconduct, and
yeah, that's what it's
media
about.
backs
40
it,
years old. 40 years ago, this guy that's running for Jeff Sessions' seat in Alabama to replace Jeff Sessions is apparently did something bad with an underage girl in his car or something 40 years ago, and now she comes forward. So and she's a Democratic political active person, but if something bad happened, something wrong happened, okay, fine. But I think the people in Alabama aren't going to vote however the Washington Post tells them to vote. And the head of the Republican Party says if he wins the election, then after he's seated, they're going to vote to disqualify him from serving in the Senate. And it'll be like, if anybody has ever seen Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, it'll be like that, because it's like the political machine. They want Alabama to be, they want to steal a red Senate seat and put it in the blue column, basically. And so I don't know what happened 40 years ago. I wasn't there. So,
well, what Limbaugh said was...
Maybe he is unfit. I don't know.
Limbaugh was saying that the Democrats have a history of covering up when one of theirs is into some sort of sexual mischief, and the media backs them up. The Republicans have a history of throwing out members who do the same thing. So is this guy Democrat or Republican?
Yeah, the guy in Alabama is a Republican.
Then, according to what Limbaugh is saying, his own party is going to take care of it, get him out of there instead of covering for him. So
well, he's not in there yet, but the thing is, if the voters vote him in, because they're tired of taking orders from the swamp people in Washington, D.C., and they say, oh, you don't like him, then we're voting for him anyway. And then he'll be seated, and then they can't stop him from being seated if he wins the election, but they can disqualify him from the Senate after he's seated, and then they'll have to have a 2/3 majority to vote him out, and then the governor would have to appoint somebody else, and then I'll get back to maybe Luther Strange or somebody that Trump liked. But all I have to say, I don't have anything to say about that, but I can tell you that I was trying to explain when I was in LA running my recording studio. There isn't just a pack of women there aren't just a few women here and there who will have sex to further their careers or their imagined careers in the film industry or the entertainment industry. There is a herd of women who will have sex with anybody or anything, or as many people as it takes to even have a chance at being in the film and or entertainment industry. So yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, I'm not. That's just how it is. I didn't make it the way it was. That's Hollywood.
Yeah, but are you comparing a private industry to a public office?
I'm not comparing it to anything. I'm just saying that's how it is. Yeah, that's a private industry. That it's not the same. But I was just with the whole people started talking about Weinstein and sexual misconduct, and it seems to be they're using everything to get people to just everything turns into politics. 40-year-old sexual misconduct to grab a hold of a Senate seat or overturn a red Senate seat and try and make it a blue one. It's just man, the nation is already split in two. And when they have if they were to pass that gun bill and get somebody to sign it and try and enforce it, I mean, it just seems like everything's getting a lot worse, and it would get really bad if they passed that law. I don't think people would just sit still for having their guns confiscated.
Well, it's getting a lot worse in a sense that there are so many people that are just so angry right now about things, and there's so many people that are trying to make rapid change instead of gradual change, and it's, I don't know, that how many times is there a president that gets elected that you don't like versus how many times there's one that you do like? I mean, it goes back and forth. I just don't get these people that they've had it their way for 8 years, and then now it goes the other way, and they're on the verge of criminal acts, or actually doing criminal acts in the name of their displeasure. But yet in 3 years or what 11 years or 7 years or something like that, it could go back the other way. I mean, I just when I've been unhappy with who's been in office, or whether it be the president, the governor, or whatever, I've just had to deal with it. I don't know why these people this time around, it's their turn to deal with it. Just deal with it, because it's going to go back the other way eventually. Sheesh.
Yeah, Trump isn't going to be dictator for life.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, actually, I like him more only because so many people hate him. Not really that I think he's great. I mean, he don't bother me none, but I actually like him more only because people hate him, and they hate him for no reason other than he's not Bernie Sanders. Because they didn't want Hillary either.
Or somebody posted this once on gun channels, and I downloaded it. Let me see if I could screen share this one. It's one of the more funny memes that I found. Can you see this?
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, what the?
Can you spot the liberal? I mean, this is the problem. And here's the thing.
I think I used to work with her.
Oh, was she the one that got you fired?
I think so, maybe.
She probably had that same look on her face. Anyway, here's the thing. Right before Hitler took over in Nazi Germany, what happened? A lot of things went wrong, and one of them was the stock market collapsed. It was right after Black Friday. So if there's a stock market collapse, a lot of things are going to change really fast. And people seem to think that the stock market will just go up forever. It keeps going up, and even Trump comes on there and he says, "Oh, the stock market has gone up so many trillions of dollars." Well, that isn't an indication of the economy doing well. Unfortunately, what that is an indication of is hyperinflation. They printed so much money with bank currencies and the open market with the treasury bonds. They've printed so much money, it's just worth less and less and less. But so the numbers will go up. I mean, you should see the stock market in Venezuela. It's booming. It's a broken country, but the stock market keeps going up and up and up in Venezuela because it literally takes you like 2 truckloads of currency to buy a sandwich, or maybe 3 truckloads of currency to buy a sandwich.
Yeah, if they only had Bitcoin over there.
You say that, but if you wanted to buy a sandwich, you would need Bitcoin. If you're in Venezuela and you want to buy a sandwich, you would need Bitcoin, because currency ain't going to do it. Seriously, if they don't allow dollars, I mean, into the country, you can't just show up on an airplane and bring a suitcase full of dollars. They'll confiscate it at the airport. So It's if you had Bitcoin, you could buy a sandwich. If you don't, you can't. And that's not a joke. That's
What sort
the
of
reality.
world do we live in where you need Bitcoin to survive?
I don't know, man, but when my thousand and whatever dollars worth of Bitcoin gets me to buy that infinity pool, all I have to say is that I told Dusty that he has to wait. He was like, "Can I bring my wife and daughters?" And I told him, "No, you can't bring. You can bring your wife, but you can't bring your daughters to my infinity pool until they're 18. Okay? I don't want any underage women by my in my infinity pool." Of course, I don't have that infinity pool yet, but there's a pretty nice place I found. I've seen this place in the multiple listing service. It was by that property I was looking at that was just a vacant lot, but this is I think this house is just on Craigslist or something. I got a picture of it. Yeah, here's the house. Where is it? Got a picture of this house. There it is. But yeah, it's pretty cheap, but it's right at the back on the edge of the forest reserve. So it's a small little house and doesn't cost much.
Will lava flow down onto it and burn it up?
It's been there for 10 or 20 years, that place, but it doesn't have a permit. It's a small little house. It's off grid. And two nice dogs there. It's a nice big driveway, circular driveway.
Does it have a bunker?
Not yet.
Could you dig one with all that volcanic rock?
I was gonna, Dusty has. I was gonna say Dusty. He just hauled his jacuzzi to the dump because he had one of those cheap Costco or some kind of jacuzzis and it broke or something. So his hot tub, he had to haul it to the dump or something, and he couldn't fix it. But doesn't he have one of his backhoe? Can't he just dig a pool with his equipment if he wanted to?
Yeah. Well, I think I still have to fix the hydraulics on it, but yeah. Yeah.
There's a driveway.
See, you got that volcanic rock, so what you could do is drill and then blast. Yeah.
I don't know. I can get binary, but I think you need a license to get dynamite. Well, there's companies that do that kind of thing. But drilling.
Yeah, they're also going to have that diamond tip drill that'll go down deep enough too. It's not like you're going to go down the stairs and get that.
What's the name of the What's the name of that? Not a regular pneumatic jackhammer, but the kind with the rotating bit on it. I forgot what they're called.
A Dremel?
No, not a Dremel. It's like a jackhammer for when you have to go through rock, solid rock. But it's not a regular pneumatic jackhammer. I bet somebody in the external, or if Bob was here, he'd know what it was. Yeah, I saw it on one of those Building Wild shows.
Yeah, he would be the guy that knew.
I saw it on one of those Building Wild shows where they had to. There was a river with the rock. They were building the house over a river, and there was a rock on either side, and they had to drill the foundation into the rock. And so they had to drill a hole in the rock, and they used a specialized kind of jackhammer. I forgot what kind it was. Maybe by the next show, somebody can figure it out. Let's see. But anyway, so yeah, there's this. Here, where's the nice sunset picture that they had? Okay. This is a pretty inexpensive little non-permitted structure.
You're talking about a hammer drill?
Maybe that's what it's called. I don't know. I forgot. Basically, it's like a jackhammer but it's not. It's for pounding through solid rock, dense rock. I'm not sure. It had like some kind of bit on it, so it was like I don't know, but it could drill through rock and something that you couldn't do with a regular pneumatic jackhammer. So Anyway, I sure hope I don't have to build this. But anyway, this is just some property I was looking at. It was by where it's right by where I did that little "Welcome to the Volcano" video, hacking through the bushes with my machete. I do have a Spartan sword, the Spartan sword combat commander sword that I got from Bud K. That's supposed to be here any day, and that's M48 Cyclone knife, which is a spiraling 3-edged knife, combat knife that's supposed to be here, but Bud K takes forever with you. Basically, it's FedEx Smart Post, and it takes like 2 or 3 weeks for anything to get here. So
Rotary blast hole drill rig.
maybe something like that. Maybe
Sorry,
made by.
you got my interest perk, so I'm Googling.
Oh, okay. We'll finish on this. Somebody said impact drill, hammer drill. Let's see if anybody on the external knows. Again with the pool. we covered the infinity pool, Bitcoin, and how to and if Dusty, if he can't build a hedgehog, then at least he could dig a pool, infinity pool. So.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be putting a pool on his farm.
Well, is his plan just to come to Hawaii with his daughters and stuff? I mean,
he's just visiting.
Right.
He's not going to relocate there.
How am I going to get him out of my pool once he's in there? He's never going to want to leave.
Sounds like you got a problem. Just release the mongoose.
Release the mongoose. Well, release the kraken. The mongoose is as close as I can come. They're pretty quick little critters, and they can bite. They got strong jaw muscles too. All right. So if you figured out what kind of drill this is, or I'm gonna have to wait to see that episode of Building Wild come on. Cable again. Oh, stop the screen share already.
Okay.
All right. Well, I wanted to thank New Throne Clay, Jesse James, and the external on YouTube, and contributing to this wonderful hangout, and Swib, one of the great panelists. Did you have a good Veterans Day weekend?
It was okay. I mean, it was quiet, I guess. Texted some of my military friends back and forth a little bit. So, it's not like there aren't a lot of veterans in Michigan. It's just I don't run into very many, though. I don't know where they're all at.
Local pub. I mean,
maybe, yeah.
All right. Let's see. Well, I watched a lot of movies on naturally. There's this really cool gun on Sabata that Lee Van Cleef had. It was like a pepper gun, but it had pepper box gun, but it had not just the 4 barrels on top. It had in the grip, coming out of it, there were 2 barrels hidden. So basically, he fires the 4 shots out of the pepper box, then he points the gun up in the air, and a little flap comes down on the bottom of the grip, and 2 more barrels can fire from the bottom of the grip. He used it in Sabata and Sabata Returns, Lee Van Cleef. I'm going to go see what the hell kind of gun that was really quick before I cut this show up.
Sabata.
Sabata.
Sabata movie. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's got
Van
Lee
Cleef.
Van Cleef, it's got to be cool. So
Yeah, it was a cool gun anyway.
1969.
Are you at the internet?
The Master Gunfighter teams up with his banjo playing partner with a Mexican bandit to foil the town leaders of Daughtry, Texas. Daughtry, who want to steal $100,000 from their own bank to buy land that the approaching railroad will cross. So, screenshots. Let's see. I see a mare's leg in a banjo. He's got it. He's
Yeah.
got the under. It's
That's
hidden in
not
the
Lee Van.
banjo.
That's not Lee Van
No.
Cleef. That's the banjo player.
Yeah, that's not no, that's not Lee Van Cleef. Let's see here. And then there's a guy. He could have been an extra in a couple other movies here.
The way that movie ends, without giving away the last gunfight, there was an agreement made to split up some money, and so at the end, Lee Van Cleef throws a big bundle of cash that's tied up at one of the people he's supposed to have a deal to split the money with, and then he shoots the bundle of money, and the wind kicks up, and there's just money flying in the air. He says, "You're gonna have to work for it." Everybody runs around trying to grab all the currency that's floating around in the air. It's going to be what happens to the U.S. dollar. But
yeah, here you go. There's Lee Van Cleef. You see him?
Yeah.
Up there? Yeah.
But do you have a screenshot of the pepper box gun?
No, I didn't find it. I'm still looking. I'm still looking.
I'll present you to everyone real quick.
Oh, yeah. No, don't do that. I am presenting to everyone. Okay, let me...
Can you find the pepper box gun? Because it had two barrels in the grip.
Yeah, let's see here. Am I still presenting to everybody? Oh,
Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. I'm looking on the good old IMFDB, whatever. I don't see it here. Huh. All right. I am presenting to everyone. Sabata,
It's the same gun in Sabata Returns, but
oh yeah, it says right here just what you said. Yep. Here we go. Yeah. All right. So visit image, poof, and go to Hangouts. And am I screen sharing?
not yet.
Share there. So there it is, right?
Right.
He's got it. It's almost like brass knuckles. So you're talking about down here at the base. He just has to tilt his wrist up.
Yeah. It's a pepper box. It's a brass trigger guard, but when he points it up after he fires the four barrels from the pepper box, then he points the gun straight up, and a flap comes down, and there's two barrels in the grip that also fire.
I guess it's just the way he's holding it that made me think yeah, okay, actually his thumb's over the top, so
But do they show it gimmick guns of the spaghetti westerns?
Yeah. Looking to see if there's any other angle on that. Right here. Yeah,
There
here
it
we
is on the
There
right.
it is. Oh, so it's a much smaller barrels. It just pops open like that.
Yeah, so he fires one, and then when the other guys think he's out of his ammunition, he has two more shots.
Look
Right.
at the way he's got the hammer right there, but I mean, you got to hold that thing real funny. that's
Well,
definitely.
I was like, that's kind of a cool gun.
And then he just pulls the trigger to fire these barrels as well.
Yeah.
That is kind of neat.
Yeah, so that was one of the movies I was watching over the weekend.
Sabata.
And that gun was pretty interesting. But I like at the end of the movie where he shoots this roll of money and just all the currency flies up in the air, and the guy's trying to grab a piece of cash before the wind blows it all away. And I was just thinking, boy, that's going to be exactly what happens in this economy. The way the dollar is going, or all fiat currencies, really.
Well, just get yourself a pepper box and.
Well, I'll have to stick with my Benelli Supernova because I think they'll probably try and take away everything if the Democrats take control of the Senate and the presidency. And I just don't think that we can rely on our courts to strike down everything as fast as they can pass regulations and try and enforce that shit. But anyway, I wanted to thank everybody for listening to Lock and Load. Check out Gun Channels. It's free to join. And I'm on gunchannels.com/HPS for my text chat during the shows on Monday. And definitely get out there and try and support the Second Amendment and kill this flipping bill. We've got a link on how to do that. And you can also always support the show by sending us some Bitcoin at the address also, the video description. Thanks for listening to Lock and Load. See you next week.
Good night, everybody.
You are terminated. Oh, I promise I will not kill anybody.